The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. The morning begins before the world even stirs. The sun, gentle and golden, rises like a whisper over the sleeping earth. In this quiet hour, we often reach for our phones instead of our purpose. The notifications, the messages, the noise, they invade our peace before we even breathe. Marcus Aurelius once wrote those words not to others but to himself, reminding his soul that his thoughts shape his world. He understood something timeless, that the battle for peace is fought in the mind before it is won in the world. Every sunrise is not just light breaking through darkness, but awareness piercing through distraction. Yet most people forget this. They wake in chaos and call it life. But the Stoic sees morning as a mirror, reflecting the state of their inner being. In the quiet of dawn, everything feels possible, yet fragile. Our minds are like soft clay, waiting to be shaped by intention or shattered by impulse. Seneca once wrote, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is." The same can be said for our mornings. It's not how long they last, but how we live them that matters. You see, the way you wake determines how you live. If you wake in gratitude, your day unfolds in peace. If you wake in distraction, your day collapses in noise. The Stoics believed mornings were sacred, a rehearsal for the soul before it steps onto the stage of life. What you think, what you say, what you do in those first few moments define your strength for the rest of the day. Epictetus reminded his students, "You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond." This truth belongs to the morning more than any other time, because every day before the world arrives, we are given a small window, a sacred silence, to prepare, to build a fortress in the mind before stepping into the storm. You can't control the world that waits outside your door, but you can choose the mindset with which you face it. The Stoic morning is not about rituals or routines. It is about readiness. It is not about perfection, but presence. When you wake with awareness, you start to see that peace is not found in the world but brought into it. So imagine this. You wake before the noise. The air is still, the world is calm. You stand by the window as the first light brushes your face. You breathe, deeply, slowly, as if the universe itself is giving you a second chance. You remember Marcus Aurelius, alone in his tent, writing words that would outlive empires. You remember Seneca, reflecting on the shortness of life, urging us to live intentionally. You remember Epictetus teaching slaves and emperors alike that true freedom lies in thought. And in that single moment, you realize that the morning isn't a beginning, it's a test. A test of who you are when the world is quiet and only your mind speaks. Because the truth is, most people lose the day before it begins. They let the world decide their mood, their focus, their peace. But you can choose differently. You can rise with stillness instead of stress. You can fill your first thoughts with strength instead of fear. You can remind yourself that no matter what chaos awaits, you are the gatekeeper of your mind. The Stoics believed that every morning is a rebirth, an opportunity to begin again with wisdom. And this is where we start. Today we will explore 8 morning truths that can rewire your mind, strengthen your soul, and awaken the calm within you that the world cannot shake. Each morning carries a hidden promise, the promise of renewal. It is the universe's quiet reminder that no matter what happened yesterday, you have the power to begin again. The Stoics understood this sacred rhythm of life. They saw each sunrise not as a routine event, but as a spiritual invitation, a moment to return to oneself, to reflect, to realign, and to remember what truly matters. The mind, they believed, must be trained as one trains the body, and that training begins at dawn, because how you meet the morning determines how you meet the world. When your mind is steady, your day becomes unshakable. When your thoughts are disciplined, your emotions follow with grace. In our modern world, mornings have lost their sacredness. We wake in haste, drowning in distraction before we even open our eyes. The phone glows beside us in a portal to endless noise. We scroll through lives that aren't ours, comparing our beginnings to someone else's middle. We chase validation before breakfast, but the Stoic morning asks something different. It asks you to pause, to breathe, to listen, to reclaim the silence that the world has stolen from you, because in that silence your strength is reborn. The Stoics believed that stillness was not laziness and it was mastery. To begin the day in peace is to declare, "I will not be moved by the chaos of the world." Think of Marcus Aurelius, waking before dawn in his cold military tent, writing in his journal under candlelight. The emperor of Rome, surrounded by wars and politics, yet his first act of the day was not command. It was contemplation. He wrote reminders to himself. At dawn, when you wake unwillingly, think of what a privilege it is to be alive. That sentence alone reveals the Stoic mindset. Gratitude before ambition. Awareness before action. Strength before noise. The Stoics began their day by preparing their mind. not their schedule. They believed the mind, once shaped with clarity, could endure anything. The storms of life cannot drown a man who wakes with purpose. Each of us faces our own invisible battles. Some fight anxiety, others face uncertainty, loss, or self-doubt. And though the world has changed, the human heart has not. We still seek peace. We still crave control. We still wish to master our minds and find meaning amidst the noise. This is why Stoicism still breathes in every generation, because it speaks not to the times, but to the soul. The Stoic morning is not about doing more, but about becoming more. It's about starting from stillness, so that when chaos comes, you remain anchored. It's about recognizing that your mind is your home, and the way you awaken it shapes your entire world. In this video, we will explore 8 Stoic truths, 8 morning lessons that can rewire your mind and reconnect you to your deeper self. These truths are not abstract ideas. They are living philosophies meant to be practiced, not preached. Each one is a doorway to calmness, clarity, and control. Together, they form a morning philosophy, a spiritual armor that you wear as you step into the day. You will learn how to protect your focus, master your emotions, and rise above the noise with the quiet confidence of a philosopher. The Stoics didn't aim to escape life. They aimed to engage with it wisely. And that begins always with the morning. The beauty of the Stoic path is its simplicity. You do not need grand rituals, expensive routines, or elaborate systems. You only need awareness and the courage to look within. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all spoke of this inner awakening. They taught that wisdom is not found in books, but in practice. Each morning is your classroom, and your thoughts are your teachers. When you choose gratitude over complaint, discipline over distraction, peace over panic, you are living Stoicism. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are responding with strength. And that shift, subtle but powerful, changes everything. So as you watch this video, I invite you to imagine your own morning. Not as a routine, but as a ritual. Picture yourself standing at the edge of dawn, with a calm heart and a clear mind. Hear the silence before the day begins. Feel the gentle pulse of life returning with the sun. Ask yourself, how will I shape my thoughts today? Because your thoughts are not just reactions, and they are creations. You are the sculptor of your own mind, and each morning the clay is soft. Each morning you begin again. That is the essence of Stoic rebirth, the daily renewal of the self through conscious thought. The goal of this journey is simple, to help you see mornings not as a burden, but as a gift. The Stoics never sought to escape pain or chase pleasure. They sought to live wisely, fully, and peacefully. Every dawn was an opportunity to practice virtue, to be kinder, calmer, and more composed than yesterday. And when you begin to see your mornings this way, life transforms. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop wishing for control and start mastering it within. The world will not always be kind, but your mind can be. That is Stoic power, unbreakable calm in an unpredictable world. So let us begin this journey together, into 8 timeless truths that the Stoics lived by. Truths that will guide you from the first breath of morning to the last hour of night. Truths that will not just change how you start your day, but how you live your life. Remember this, the quality of your thoughts shapes the quality of your world. And every morning is your chance to build that world anew. When you learn to rise like a Stoic, calm, centered, and aware, no chaos can shake you, and no darkness can drown your light. Life today moves faster than the human soul was ever meant to move. We wake up running, chasing tasks, goals, and expectations that never end. But in that chase, something sacred is lost, our connection to the present. The Stoics warned against this centuries ago. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." The modern mind wastes mornings the same way, by giving them away to noise. But when you learn to begin slowly, intentionally, with awareness, the day bends in your favor. The world outside will always be restless, but the world within can be still, and that stillness is your strength. Every moment of calm you create in the morning becomes a shield you carry into the day. The beauty of Stoicism is that it doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be present. You don't need to silence your thoughts, only to guide them. You don't need to eliminate emotion, only to understand it. The Stoics never denied their humanity. They refined it. They believed that through reflection and awareness, even pain could become a teacher. And every morning offers you that same classroom. The sun rises not just for the world, but for your mind, to remind you that clarity is a choice. Each breath at dawn is a decision. Will you be ruled by chaos, or will you rule your thoughts? Will you react, or will you respond? This is the quiet battle of every morning, unseen, but deeply transformative. And when you win that battle, when you begin your day with peace instead of panic, you begin to taste the essence of Stoic freedom. True freedom is not found in wealth, success, or control over others. It is found in control over yourself. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That mastery begins not at noon but at dawn, when you decide how your thoughts will move, how your emotions will behave, and how your actions will align with virtue. Each sunrise becomes your teacher. Each morning your meditation, each breath your reminder that you are the guardian of your own mind. And once you master that, no storm, no loss, no noise can take your peace away. The Stoics believed that gratitude is the anchor of the soul. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings by reminding himself of the gift of simply being alive. He wrote, "At dawn, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." In today's world, our first thoughts are often of what we lack, what we must do, fix, or achieve. But the Stoic morning asks you to begin differently, to wake with thankfulness, not tension, to see your breath, your heartbeat, your consciousness as miracles. Gratitude shifts the lens of the mind from scarcity to abundance. And when you begin your day by noticing what is already enough, the world cannot steal your peace. Epictetus taught that freedom begins where control ends. He said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Each morning, your thoughts scatter toward things beyond you, other people's opinions, uncertain futures, unfinished goals. The Stoic reminds you to return your focus to the one thing that is truly yours, your response. When you rise, ask yourself, what today is within my control? What lies beyond it? Then gently let go of the rest. This mental separation brings peace. You no longer fight what you cannot change. You conserve energy for what truly matters. That is how the Stoic begins his day, grounded, not grasping. The world will rush to invade your morning. The phone, the headlines, the endless scroll, all of it whispering that you are behind, unworthy, or incomplete. But as Seneca wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." The Stoic morning is sacred. It is a sanctuary for your thoughts, not a marketplace for distraction. When you wake, do not rush to consume. Pause to create space within. Let silence be your first companion. The mind, like still water, reflects truth only when undisturbed. Protect the first hour of your day as if it were a temple, because it is the temple of your mind. And once noise enters, peace fades. One of the greatest Stoic practices is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself each morning, "Today you will meet the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, not to despair, but to prepare." He knew that expecting life to be easy was the surest way to suffer. When you accept the nature of life, that difficulty will come. You no longer resist it. Acceptance does not mean weakness. It means readiness. So each morning, whisper to yourself, "Whatever today brings, I will meet it with strength." That small act of acceptance transforms fear into calm and turns chaos into clarity. The Stoics knew that the first thought after waking can shape the entire day. Epictetus said, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters, so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control." When you open your eyes, your mind often begins to race, worries, tasks, regrets. But you have a choice. You can become a slave to your thoughts, or you can lead them. Take a breath and direct your awareness toward clarity, not chaos. Replace "I have to" with "I get to." Replace fear with focus. Your first thoughts are the foundation of your day. Build them with care, and your day will follow with peace. Seneca once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." The Stoics didn't seek comfort, they sought strength. Each morning they imagined themselves as warriors of the mind, preparing for the battles of the day. They knew that every obstacle is a training ground for the soul. You too can build your inner fortress through small acts of courage. Rising early, facing discomfort, speaking with honesty, staying calm when others panic. Each act of discipline becomes a stone in the wall of your resilience. And soon, no storm can shake what you have built within. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each dawn that he was part of something vast, the rhythm of nature itself. He wrote, "The morning air is cold, yet I must rise. For what was I made, if not to do the work of a human being?" In our modern world, we have drifted far from that rhythm. We live by screens instead of sunlight. But the Stoic sees morning as a sacred return, to breathe, to move, to be in harmony with life's flow. Step outside, feel the air, watch the light unfold. The sun rises for all without judgment or haste. When you rise with it, you remember that peace is not found in resistance, but in acceptance of what is. Perhaps the most powerful Stoic morning truth comes from Seneca. Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life. To live as if today were your last is not to fear death. It is to love life more deeply. When you wake, remember that this sunrise may never come again. Let that awareness humble you, soften you, awaken you. Do not rush through this day, savor it. Speak kindly. Notice beauty. Be fully alive. The Stoics did not measure life by its length but by its presence. And when you treat each morning as your final one, you discover the secret they carried. Every moment is a miracle waiting to be lived. When you look closely, you'll see that these 8 truths are not just morning habits. They are mirrors of the soul. Each one reflects a deeper lesson about how to live, how to think, how to be. The Stoics never separated philosophy from life. For them, wisdom was meant to be practiced with every breath. Morning, then, is the sacred rehearsal for living rightly. The way you greet the dawn becomes the way you meet your destiny. If your first thought is calm, your next action will be wise. If your first breath is grateful, your next word will be kind. The Stoic morning doesn't change the world outside you. It changes the world within. And that change is where peace begins. The beauty of Stoic thought lies in its simplicity. It doesn't demand perfection. It asks only for awareness. The Stoics understood that the human mind is fragile yet powerful, capable of creating heaven or hell within a single moment. That's why they returned to their thoughts each morning like a craftsman sharpening his tools. You cannot stop the storms of life, but you can strengthen the hands that hold the wheel. You cannot predict what the world will bring, but you can prepare your mind to endure it with grace. The dawn, therefore, is not the beginning of the day. It is the beginning of mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not for the world, but for himself, a reminder that even an emperor needs discipline of thought. He knew that strength without calmness is chaos, and calmness without purpose is emptiness. When he woke each morning, he faced the same temptations we face now: distraction, anger, pride, fatigue. But he chose awareness. He chose to pause before the world could claim him, and that single pause became his power. Because in that moment between waking and acting, the Stoic finds freedom. The freedom to choose thought over impulse, virtue over reaction, peace over panic. Every day offers you that same freedom, yet we often let it slip through our fingers. Consumed by the rush of modern life, we treat mornings as a race instead of a ritual. But the Stoic way is slower, deeper, truer. It asks you to wake not as a machine but as a mindful being, to rise not just from sleep, but from ignorance, to live not by routine but by intention. When you begin your day with awareness, you no longer drift, you direct. And when you direct your mornings, you direct your life. That is the secret the Stoics tried to leave behind. That mastery of the mind is mastery of everything. The quiet truth is that life is always uncertain. Plans change. People leave. The world moves in ways we cannot control. But the Stoics found serenity in that very uncertainty. They accepted that life is not meant to be conquered, only understood. To resist reality is to suffer. To align with it is to be free. When you rise each morning and say, "Whatever comes, I will meet it with calm," you are practicing the deepest form of wisdom. Because peace is not given. It is created thought by thought, breath by breath, moment by moment. You may wonder how ancient wisdom can survive in the noise of our modern age. But that's precisely why it must. The more chaotic the world becomes, the more sacred the Stoic path grows. When others chase pleasure, you choose peace. When others seek control, you practice surrender. When others fear change, you embrace it. The Stoic does not live above the world. He lives within it, but untouched by its storms. His calm is not ignorance. It is insight. It is the realization that the world outside can only disturb you if the world inside allows it. In this, the morning becomes a ritual of remembrance. Each sunrise whispers, "You are here again. You have been given another chance to think clearly, to act kindly, to live wisely, to forgive yourself for yesterday and rise with purpose today." The Stoics understood that time is fleeting, that every dawn may be the last, and so they greeted it with humility and wonder, not complaint or fear. When you wake in this spirit, even the smallest moments become sacred. The warmth of sunlight, the rhythm of your breath, the simple miracle of being alive. And perhaps that is the final lesson of the Stoic morning, that peace is not something to be found, but something to be remembered. It has always been within you, waiting to be noticed. The stillness you seek is not in the mountains or in the silence of monasteries. It lives quietly in your awareness, in the pause between thought and action, in the breath you take before you speak. When you awaken to that truth, your mornings become holy, your days become lighter, and your life becomes an act of wisdom. And so, as the sun rises once more, remember, your morning is not just a beginning, it is a choice between noise and stillness, between reaction and reflection, between drifting and direction. The Stoics did not live easier lives. They lived with deeper awareness. They understood that every sunrise is an invitation to live with virtue. The world may test your patience, your focus, your peace, but you are not powerless. You have the ability to pause, to breathe, and to respond with wisdom. Each morning you choose calm over chaos. You win a quiet victory that no one sees but your soul. When you wake tomorrow, do not rush to meet the day. Let the day come to you. Sit in silence. Breathe deeply. Feel your heartbeat as proof of your existence. Whisper words of gratitude for the chance to begin again. Then remind yourself of the truths you've learned, that control is found in your response, that peace is born in acceptance, and that every thought builds the world you live in. The Stoic morning is not about achieving perfection. It is about beginning with awareness. If you can master the first hour, the next 23 will follow with grace. Remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. That is the message of Stoicism distilled to its essence. You cannot control what life brings, but you can control how you rise to meet it. You can train your mind to stay steady while the world trembles. You can learn to find light in the ordinary, meaning in the mundane, peace in the unpredictable. That is the art of living like a Stoic, not escaping life, but engaging with it fully, calmly, and courageously. So as you move forward, take these 8 truths and make them your daily companions. Let gratitude greet you each dawn. Let focus guard your thoughts. Let acceptance shield your heart. And let presence guide your every step. Remember that each morning is a blank page and you are the author. Write with purpose. Live with awareness. Speak with kindness. The Stoics left behind wisdom not for emperors or scholars, but for all of us, ordinary souls trying to live extraordinary lives through simple, daily acts of clarity. Thank you for joining us today on the Stoic Journal. If these words have touched something within you, take a moment to reflect before you scroll away. What one truth will you carry with you into tomorrow's sunrise? Share it below, and let it serve as a reminder for others walking this same path. If you wish to walk deeper into this philosophy, to live with strength, calm, and clarity, remember to subscribe, to reflect, and to return, because this journey of wisdom is never finished. It is lived one morning at a time, and as this video ends, let this thought stay with you. Peace is not a destination, it is a practice. A gentle discipline that begins anew each dawn. You are not behind, you are becoming. You are not lost, you are learning. Every sunrise gives you another chance to begin again, wiser, calmer, stronger. So rise tomorrow with stillness in your heart, light in your eyes, and the quiet courage of a Stoic soul. For this is where your strength begins, in the first breath of morning. Thank you for watching the Stoic Journal, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. May your mornings be calm and your mind unshakable.